enough. Good morning, everybody here in Avos Shalom. Everybody here in Torah Anytime and in YouTube. We are about to start Bezos Hashem another shiur, hopefully a very good one, in Ezu Neshech, Bava Metzia. What you see on the screen in front of you is not the Gemara, because we're going to do an introduction to the this next sugya. But before we do that, I want to correct something I said yesterday. I wasn't completely wrong yesterday, but I wasn't completely right either. I kept describing yesterday's situation as the middleman being a schwindler who basically created a miscommunication between the man seller and the woman buyer. It's not. It could be true, but it's not the main point. In other words, could be, and some Meforshim explained that she was siding with the shliach, but it doesn't make a difference. It's still miscommunication, or just on purpose, the moicher understood that it's not a real sale. It's either a suffix sale or it's for sure just a milveh, because he knows that if he doesn't get the condition, if the condition is not met, then there's no sale. And his condition is, when I come with the money, the land will be automatically mine right from the beginning. There was no sale. And she didn't know about it the way I described it, or didn't want to know about it. She says no. In other words, she says, I'm doing my best. I hopefully, in other words, maybe what the shliach said could be she sides with him. And she said, it's not a condition. If you come with the money, maybe, hopefully, I'll be nice to you. I'm your cousin. But yeah, and then eventually she said, no, it's not a condition. Yeah, when push came to shove and he came with the money, then she refused to leave the land. Why? Because either she didn't know about it, or she knew about the condition but didn't care, right? Lamatzah doesn't make a difference. We still have the matzav here of, at the end of the day, the one who holds the cards in his hands is a mocher. The mocher never actually wanted to have the karka leaving his hands, yeah, if not for the Tanai. Therefore, it was not really a mechira, it was just alva, and therefore we have an issue of ribis. So at the end of the day, it's the same, okay? Just I stress too much the point of the schwindlerei of the shliach. It's not wrong, but it doesn't have to be that scenario dafka. It still works. Okay, we are about to start the next sugya, and I saw a very nice hakdama here in the tour, Kufa Beis, to describe different types of mashkantos. It gives a very good introduction for the next sugya. Before we start the tour, I saw yesterday in one of the Rishonim, it's called Rabbi Baruch Meretz Yovan. Rabbeinu Baruch from the land of Greece, Meretz Yovan, he says there are no less than 7 types of mortgages. 7 different types of mashkantos. When a person borrows money and gives land as a temporary mashkanta to the lender, there are 7 different ways of how you can do it, and there are 7 different ways how that affects ribis. We will not touch on all of them today, but today we're going to have at least 4 different types of mashkantos with, fine differences between them, nuances, and that's why the sugya not easiest that I've seen in my life, I have to admit, but we'll take it step by step. So a very beautiful, good introduction is what the tour, the Arba Turim, Rabbeinu Yaakov Bala Turim, gives us an introduction to the sugya. Kufa and Beis. Skip the small letters. The small print is not the tour himself. It's just a modern day introduction. Mashkoino. Yeah, it starts. The title is Mashkoino, is like a collateralized land, a mortgage land. Mishalov amois mechaveiro. A person borrowed money from his friend. Umishkan osadeu leechol peiros. He was memashkin in the field. In other words, he collateralized the field in the hands of the lender, and he knows that the lender will eat fruit. You tell me right now, what potential problem is there already? What's already the potential problem? That ribis. Because if I borrowed, let's just stick to $1 million, such a nice round number, yeah? He borrowed 1 million, gives him a field worth 1 million. Hopefully, he'll come back with 1 million and take back the land. And plus, on top of that, Mr. Malve is eating and, making profit, whatever eating means. He eats the grapes, he built a hotel there, whatever he did. He's gaining profits. We're going to talk about your point also soon, yeah? So, yesh makom shenoyagin. The tour is going to describe to us 2 different ways of mashkanta. Some places, the minhag, the norm is, we're going to meet this new kind of mashkanta. The loiva is not allowed to actually redeem the land, even if he has the money, until the specific time that was designated comes. Let's say I live in an agricultural area and I need at least 3 or 6 years to see real profit. I need a few agricultural cycles. So I am the Malve, and I say, listen, I want to collateralize the land in my hands. Very nice, but Lemaisa, I want a minimum of, let's say, 6 years. Before 6 years, don't come to me with your money. Even if you have the $1 million tomorrow, or in a year, or in 2 years, because you won the lottery and you also got, I don't know, Yerusha and promotion. I'm so happy for you. No, I'm not interested in getting your money and giving back the land until time X comes. That is definitely one potential way of doing it. Yeah. Think today, not agricultural. Let's say everybody knows in that area people build, and that's absolutely realistic today. People build what? Office buildings. After Corona, the less popular. But let's say an office building, it takes a lot of time to build, a lot of time to rent, to advertise, get all the law firms and all the embassies to actually be, to be convinced to come to my place. That takes, I don't know, I'm not a businessman. I mean, at least 10 years, if not until we break even and then see profits afterwards. Yeah. So don't come to me before 10 years. Even if you have the money, you knock on my door and say, please, 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 here's the money. Oh, you dear Mr. Malve. No, Mr. Malve already made a condition in advance. I don't want to see your face. I can see your face, but I'm not going to leave the karka before, let's say, 10 years, 6 years, whatever they decided. Okay, that's just one option like that. So now, and meanwhile, he's eating all the fruit, right? He's eating all the benefits from that land, and afterwards, he's going to get all the money. The yesh, let's see, that's one option. One option. I'm not yet talking about ribis, but that's one option. Actually, here ribis is less of a problem because of what you said. The yesh, flip the page, please. Yesh makomis shenogin shochol ifdoiso emosai sheyirtze. Some places the minhag is no. Whenever you come with the money, you're allowed to what? Kick me out of the land. Bring me the money. Get back your collateral, the land. Achrei shana rishona. I don't know about the shana rishona business. That is actually something which you don't see in the Gemara and Rashi, but the Tur here brings down, based on other Rishonim, that you need at least 1 year in the hands of the Malve. Yeah, that's the option of bring it back whenever you want. Bring it back whenever you want, as long as 1 year. Leave the 1 year alone for now, okay? The Gama Malve Yocholoku Flaloive Shifdena Mosa Shiyotze. The Malve also can force the loive to be paid to redeem it whenever he wants. That's also not a point which we're going to talk about in the Gemara. Now, here, Bekitzer, so far we have 2 tracks, and it's very important to know that. Generally speaking, there are 2 tracks. Either let's say I'm the Malve, yeah, nicer maybe to be the Malve, do the mitzvah. I'm the Malve. You gave me that nice piece of land where it's very normal to build office buildings. Then I say, listen, mister, and that's a minhag, everyone does that. It's not out of line. Before 10 years, even if you come to me with $1 million, I don't care. I want that land for 10 years. After 10 years, you come back with the money and then we'll switch it over, we'll swap. That's one way. The other way is no, besides the 1 year business, which is a tourist thing, the other option is no, whenever you come with the money, yeah, within reasonable amount of time, whenever you come with the money, you get it back, which means I'm here on the land, the Malve, I'm sitting on this land knowing very well any given moment, yeah, past maybe 1 year, etc. Any given moment, I'll be given the loan back to my pocket, and I'll have to say bye-bye, au revoir, or not au revoir, completely goodbye to the land. Yeah, very simple. It's either set amount of time, or whenever he comes with the money, then things will just go back to normal, to the original. These are the 2 plans in different places. And now, to avoid the starting point here before we continue is it's alvo. Somebody knocked on your door. Somebody knocked on my door. Akiva, I need $1 million. I wish you could help him. Somebody comes to you. I need $1 million. That's how it started. There's no sale. It's going to develop. But the starting point here, and it's important to know, it's alvo. Alvo, take a collateral. Yeah. Sometimes in Israel, amusement parks or things like that, they take you to Dat Zehut as a collateral. Instead of the Dat Zehut, he took the land. It's a mashkanta, that's all. But it's a loan, like you borrow from the bank, mortgage, mashkanta. Now, let's just get momentum here. Now, when is it more like ribis? When is it less like ribis? Says the 2, and it may surprise you. the place where the noyeg that at any given moment the borrower can come with the money and redeem his land, any given moment. Yeah, it's not set in the hands of the lender for a fixed amount of time. It is not. Then doimet fele ribis. It looks more like ribis. Why? It looks less like a Kenyan, but more like ribis. Shasode hibilshus aloive. The soda is now in the hands of the loive. Why? Because the loive is the one that can any given moment, right, actually take it away from him. There's always what you call in English strings attached. If I sit there on the land, the malve, I'm not secure. I can't start building my hotel there. The Gemara is going to give all kinds of nafkaminis. Can't promise it as a gift for my wife for the next 5 years. I can't do anything there. Any given moment, you'll knock on the door, give $1 million, and force me out. That means I'm the malve, I'm less of an owner. So what is it? More like a milve. It's just regular loan. The collateral is going to be snapped away from me any given moment, right? So what is the money? Halva, as we said, the money is halva, is a loan in the hands of the loive. And now, if he eats the fruit, who's he? The malve is eating the fruit. That seems to be potentially, at least, unless you take care of it, as we will, revis. Yeah, he eats all the fruit. He rented out already all the office buildings to the fancy law firms, taking a lot of money every month, right, in central Tel Aviv. And what? And now, on top of that, he's going to get all the million. On top of that, the original amount, that is potential ribis. Is it avek ribis? Is it ribis ktsutza? That's besides the point. Aval, however, let's go back to the other option, the other trail. The mokem shenogin shelo lifdoiso mokem that what? What's the other option? No, you're not allowed to touch it, Mr. Loive. Then, if for 10 years, it's in the secure hands of the malve, right? He can do whatever he wants there for the next, let's say, 10 years, build a hotel and a gas station and a vineyard and all of them together, and nobody can disturb him. Then Yaakov, then it looks more like mecher. Why? Because it's like what we called in Bava Basra, many places, kinyan lizman. For those 10 years, I'm the only owner. The loiva can drive me crazy up and down the wall. I'll call the police, whatever. In other words, no, there's no way, right? I'll get out of there. So temporarily, it is mine completely for this time. It's more like mecher. It's as if the body of the field was sold to Mr. Who. Now what you said is true. It's ki'ilu sold, right? To the malve until 10 years come. Up to 10 years, I don't want to see your face, and you have absolutely no right to touch the land, which is temporarily mine. The ikateret fei. And therefore it's less of a ribis. Why? Because that's, if you remember in Daf Samech, who said that's what the goyim think, and I told you then that the goyim are not wrong in that. The Gemara says that that's a goyish mashkanta. I'm not inventing it. Meaning, and this is similar to what you were saying yesterday, that really those 10 years the land is mine. So all the money I'm raking from all the fancy law firms in Tel Aviv are from my land. In other words, we have two separate parallel stories here. It's true that there's a loan hovering around here, and in 10 years' time, that loan will be returned to me, the malve. Then I'll have to give him back the fancy office building, and we'll discuss how that's going to work with a thing. But Lamaisa, during those 10 years, it's completely mine, right? So I'm wearing now for 10 years the hat of the owner. As an owner, all the billions of shekels I'm raking are really from my office building in my property. So that's not ribis. Funnily enough, the worst made it better, right? It's completely his. It's so his already that it's mamish like a kinyan. So all the money he's raking out of there and all the grapes he's picking are really considered to be from his land. It's not ribis. It's very separate cheshbonis. You made you got back your million, and chutz mizeh, you made I don't know, another million from the rent. So what? That other million was from the land, which was temporarily mine. You can ask, but it's not mechzi. I prefer no questions for now. Unless, is it quick? I just want to correct. I'm not sure if I'm right because a lot of fine differences here. There are small differences here, and that is, it says mokem shenoagu. In other words, it doesn't say that the Malva and Love actually said that for 10 years you can't touch it, right? Right? It makes a difference. That's the minhag hamokoim. We know, let's say in the business world in Tel Aviv, I don't know, when people borrow money and they collateralize and mashkantaize their land, and everybody knows that everybody in Tel Aviv keeps it for 10 years, then it's not like they have to say it. It's automatically understood. Okay? That's what Semokim Shanagu. I'm just okay. That's a nakuda. Hilkach. I really would like to continue, and then Hilkach. Therefore, so how do you avoid ribis? In the case we do have a danger of ribis, where Hilkach, Larashi, the ata deloy misalki, in a place where nobody can kick you out. Let's select. Nobody can kick the malve out of the land. Shari, afil below nechyoso. Oh, what's nechyoso? Lenakot in Hebrew means two things. Lenakot with the kuf is to clean for Pesach, and lenakot with the kaf, also in modern Hebrew in the banking world, lenakot means to deduct, to clear or to deduct. So, shari afil below nechyoso. Even without deducting, it's okay. What do you mean without deduction? Clearly, as I told you, if I lent you $1 million, we'll get the $1 million in 10 years' time, nice and fresh and clean to the bank. And what? On top of that, I'm not deducting anything. For 10 years, I raked in what? All the schirus of the people. No problem. It's not called ribis. So we don't have to deduct it and what we call in Hebrew lekazez to balance it out. Yes, I didn't make $1 million. I got back the $1 million. On top of that, chutz mizeh, as a buyer, I also raked in all the rent of all the law offices. Very good. Ube'asra de misalki below nichyoso. Oh, be'asra de misalki, excuse me, comma, in a place. Oh, what would be in the place the misalki, which means, let's say the other plan A. Any given moment, I can hear a knock on my door in the office building. Hey, ha ha ha. Oh, I'm Loive. Here's $1 million. Get out of here right now. Excuse my coarse language. Yeah. Get out of here right now. $1 million. I'll get out of there right now. That's called a loan. It's not my field as a buyer, as a buyer, right? It's a regular loan. Oh, then the loan if we do not deduct, if I give what? If I get back the $1 million, I'm the malve, plus I made $500,000 in the short period I was there, right? Havi avak ribis. It's an avak ribis, right? It's not ribis doraisa. The two paskins, by the way, you'd be happy to see, it's not called ribis ktsutza, even though we knew about it in advance. Remember yesterday this year, we knew that it's going to happen, but it wasn't clearly verbally spoken. It's sort of like understood, but we're not sure. We don't know how much, if at all. It's not a clear ribis. It's avak ribis. Very important to know the eina yoitza bedayonin. The eina yoitza bedayonin, which means, let's say, after all said and done, my Toyin Rabbani whispers in my ears of the loive. I know the loive. The loive, and he says, "Hey, Mr. Loive, why is it that you paid $1 million? And do you know that during the 2 years he was there, he raked out a lot of money? That's ribis. No, you can't take him to BSD In, because we pass him like a blotter that says what? Ribis the Rabbanon cannot be taken by the Yonim, and we're going to be very strong with that. Yeah, ribis, the Rabbanon of Avak ribis cannot be demanded back, be taken to BSD In, demanded by the Yonim, and he will stay with the money. I'm going to give you a very strong statement here to avoid questions. We're not learning Musar now, and we're not saying what's good for the neshame of the malve. We're learning very cold Litvisha Yerodea. Me'ikaradin, that guy, the malve, stays with the avak ribis, and nobody can take the avak ribis out of his pocket. You want to be his Musar safer, you want to be his magid, and tell him it's nice to get rid of it, it's nice. But the Gemara stays very strong and very, very staunch that money halachically stays in the pocket of the malve. That avak ribis, the extra that he made. I want to just make that clear right now, because it will be very strange the extent the Gemara is going to take of his rights to keep the ribis b'diavad. Nobody said it's a nice thing to do. It's an avera. Don't offer him as a shidduch for my daughter, as I jokingly say. But lemaisa, yeah, this is not money that can be taken out of his pocket. Okay? Ubenechioso shari. One solution is nechioso. Of course, if the two people are erlich yidden, including the malve, he raked how much? $500,000 from all the schirus of the law offices that he were in the building. Now the other guy comes with $1 million. No. Give me only $500,000 and even it out, and lenakot with chaf, which means to balance, to deduct. It's called deducting in English. Yeah. In other words, yeah, I lent $2 million. I ate $500,000 through the grapes or the law offices. I enjoyed $500,000. Now you come with a loan. I'll only take $500,000 to just make it $1 million and now more. To avoid ribis, very simple. So far, it's very easy and they're very clear. Okay, Shari, next page. Okay, no, what I said was right, but Oh, there are two types of nechioso. Oh, vechidam nechioso. Okay. I actually will read that towards the. I don't want to confuse you. Let's read that part of the tour in the second part of the sugya. Okay. So far, I think we've had a good introduction to the first part of the sugya. Yeah, keep the papers. Yeah, I'll keep it on the screen, and we're going to revisit it, the third page of the tour, later on in the sugya. That's what I said was also true, but there's another type of nechiosa, which is every year he's menake a certain amount, but let's leave that aside. Okay, let's continue. Okay, let's continue. Let's go now to the Gemara. Let's go now to the Gemara, into the Gemara. What? Yeah, time for questions now. Okay. Omar. Okay. Omar Ma Breder of Yosef. Line starts with Rav Yosef. It's about 10 lines or so from the bottom of the page. Samich Zayin Amud Aleph Bov Metzia. Omar Ma Breder of Yosef Mishmei Derove. Mar, the son of Rav Yosef, quoting Rova, says, Ha mashkanta, that mashkanta, land that is mortgaged, collateralized, be'atra de misalki, oh, in a place where it's problematic because the love can be mesalek. What's lesalek? Can take out, kick out, remove the malve from the land any given moment. Then what? Ochal shiur zuzi. Let's say the person now, okay, I'm actually going to have it on the wall, on the whiteboard. Okay. Amar Ma'abed Rav Yosef Shmei Dorov. Hamashkanta, a mashkanta be'atra de misalki. Mashkanta in the place where at any given second the lover, the borrower, can come and say, "Hey, here's the money. Take my money and give me my back right now. Give me my land back right now." Now the question is as follows: Achal shiur zuzi. Let's say he came at a very, very good opportune moment. He came at that point. Who's he? The borrower came after the lender ate 1 million, and he said, "Oh, I got you. I chopped you right here. You ate 1 million. That's the return. Don't expect me to what? Pay you $1 million cash end of the rainbow over there, plus you ate 1 million fruit. I want to convert the fruit that you ate, the 1 million, into the return, and I'll give you a nice number called 0 minus null. Because why? Because that million you originally meant that your idea was to have ribis. Your idea was to have ribis, naughty boy. You wanted 1 million cash at the end of the horizon over there. Plus, you're raking in 1 million. I don't go for that. I say, no, that 1 million you had, because it's the same amount, this, what you ate at the beginning, is the same amount as what I'm going to give back. Let's convert and say the fruit you ate, they are the 1 million. You know, where's the 1 million cash? It's in your stomach or it's in your bank account, because that's what you already were marviach from my field. That is illegal. What? You should be happy. That's kind of your no.
Lopez now.
Lopez
has suspect of getting it.
No, there's never lova getting ribis. First of all, no such thing. One second. Yeah, misalkin. Achal shiur zuzi misalkinanle. Yes, you can misalakim, which means he's going to get out of the land right now, and he's not going to get anything extra. Where is the 1 million that you owed? In your tummy. Whether are they? You ate that 1 million. You have to respect it's a chiddush. No questions. Next 5 minutes, please. Yet respect that this is a chiddush, because originally, and that's what I told you, don't teach anybody musar over here. The idea of Mr. Malva was to get ribis. Avak ribis derabanan. He wanted to get that 1 million. In his eyes, that fruit that he ate at the beginning are the extra. Says halacha, no. What you thought was extra can be converted into the basic capital, and now you're paid the capital in the form of fruit or the money you raked instead of the cash. That should be very logical in your eyes, yeah? Now, however, what happens if he came too late? He came here. Let's say the loive came at this point. The loive came here, not here. He came here after he ate another 20,000. Okay, the Seder, and he said, blah, 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 "Give me back everything." No, the 1 million you can get. But the 20,000 you cannot get. Why? Because the 1 million is the capital. You can convert that to being a capital. The 20,000, what are they on top of the million? Ribis, Ribis, Poshea, Israel, Ganev, Rotzech. Maybe. But there's absolutely no right. You have no right, Mr. Lover, to claim back Ribis from who? Ribis, Avak Ribis, the Rabbanon, from the Malve. And he will stay with the 20,000. And since he ate it already, it's in his stomach or in his bank account, wherever that is, that 20,000 blibes by him, they stay by him. And the 1 million is really belonging to that 1 million is what? The 1 million he's not going to get any, but the 20,000, yeah, he's going to stay with. Yeah, the 20,000 is not something that you can take away from him because that's avakribis. That the 1 million, the basic is one cheshbon. The extra, anything beyond the 1 million, that you came too late. You came after the 20,000. Had you come here, what would be? Kick him out. 1 million was paid. Hey, get out of my land. The 1 million, where's the 1 million paid? They're paid in your bank account or in your stomach. You ate them already. But if you came after that, after 1,020,000, 1,000,000, then now you can kick him out, true. But the 20,000 will stay with him. That 20,000 you cannot get out of him and say, no. So Lamaisa, he's going to stay with everything here. Now, because of what? Again, there's no right to take from him the 20,000 or any extra amount, I mean to say, beyond the capital, beyond what was borrowed. Because it's avakribis, avakribis cannot be taken, cannot be charged out of him, cannot be taken to court to give it back. Now, veloy mechashvinan mishtoro l'shtoro. So now he's going to say, wait a second. Ugh. He ate that 20,000 mechutzav. Hey, says the Torah Rabbani, listen, there was another shtar. You know, this guy, there's another loan that I owe him. I owe him 1 million. I just remembered, whoa, Hashem, thank you. I actually have another loan of 20,000 that I borrowed another time. Can I now say, hey, wait a second, mister, maybe that 20,000, the other loan that I borrowed from you 10 years ago, I'll not give you back. Why won't I give you back? Let's use that extra as the payment of the other loan. For this loan, you call it avakribis extra, and the extra on top of the cake, and top of the capital, I cannot take from you. But wait, let's be mekazez. It's such a nice Hebrew word. Let's even it out with another loan. The 1 million for 1 million, good. The 20,000 you're staying, and I'm not getting the 20,000 the 8 from my land. Hi, yes, maybe the 20,000 debt that I owe you from another time with another star, I will not pay you the loive, and I'll say, oh, that was paid for you. It's in your stomach, and that 20,000 should be paid for another loan. The answer is no, you cannot do that. Why? Because when he ate those 20,000, once the clock hit million, once he surpassed the capital amount, the basic amount, everything he eats now is ribis, darabonon, avik ribis, cannot be taken away from him. And if you tear your star and you don't pay him the 20,000 in cash of the other loan, it's as if you are taking from him now by not paying him the 20,000 you owe him. You passively, aggressively, what are you doing? You're taking away from his stomach, from his bank account, Keilu, the extra 20,000, and then you're not allowed to do. Wow. It's so strong, the fact that avakribis cannot be demanded back, even to play around and like reset it as a payment for another loan you cannot do. Simply. Why? Because avakribis cannot be taken out. And I will stay with those 20,000 in my stomach in my bank account, and you will still have to pay me another 20,000 for the other loan from 20 years ago, which this wasn't collateralized for. Why? Because avakribis, what cannot be taken in Basin, cannot be taken. Is he a nice guy? No. Shidduch from my daughter? No. Terrible, horrible, Gehenim. All very nice. We're not learning Musar now. Lamaisa, once the 20,000 extra was taken by him, raked by him, it's in his possession, he cannot touch it. Not even play around with it and as a payment for another debt. So is the halacha. That's what we say. Now, the ubediatmi, there's a big exception to the rule. Halacha is always very, very protective of Yesoimim. Yesoimim, yeah, halacha is very protective of orphans, especially as we'll see young orphans, either below bar mitzvah or they don't know what they're doing, or both. Yesoimim, let's say the father, the people are now what? Who are now sitting there, the people who lent the money are Yesoimim, or the Yesoimim's father. Now the Yesoimim, they are the ones who come, they want to get back the land. Yesoimim, represented by their custodian, the Patropus, they want to get the land back from people who lent money to the father. The Yesoimim, the game changes completely. Ochal Shiur Zuzim Esalkinan, of course, that's a good, by the way, review. The basic amount, the Yesoimim and the rep, they came, boom, at the right moment. When he ate just the 1 million, not extra, then good. Then we say that Misalkin Lay, they don't have to pay an extra million. The million, instead of cash, was already paid by you eating the amount of the capital. That's no difference. That's like adults. However, we build more on top of that. Ochalt fame of kinan mine. Wow. Ooh. If he ate the 20,000, we say no. We'll get the 20,000 out of your pocket. Although it's avakribis, and avakribis can never be taken out, if you represent Yesomim, you will now have to write them a big fat check of whichever amount you ate on top of the minimum, meaning avakribis shall be returned to the Yesomim. Why? Says Rashi, BSD In are the powerful ones, and BSD In are also like the father of the Yesomim. They play both hats. You have to wear both hats. And therefore, BSD In can decide that it's as if we came early. It's a big chiddush. It's just the rights of the Yesomim, as if we came before he ate them, right? If I came before he ate the 20,000, he wouldn't have gotten them. I came too late. I came after he started gnawing into the extra amount, right? 20, 30, 45, 50,000. So then, but the Yisraelim, we play it as if they came early, because the Yisraelim can be abused very, very easily. We are jealously protecting the rights, and that's always the story. Now, in if there is another debt, that of course, it goes without saying, if I can take out 20,000 away from the extra amount from the hands of the Malve, needless to say that also if he owes if the Yisraelim owe him another debt, then we'll tear the star and say, don't be surprised. You know how you're going to get your 20,000 you owed? By the 20,000 that you ate as an extra. And we can convert the ribis, aber kribis, into a payment of the other debt. It's absolutely against halacha when it comes to adults. Because the Yisraelim can be very easily abused and swindled and played around with, and therefore we say by the Yisraelim the rules change. Now, it's short break for questions, and then Rav Ashi is gonna take everything one step further. Compliment. As I want to point out, this Gemara works backwards, back to front. In other words, we're now talking about a situation of ribis, which is b'diavad. The Gemara is not telling you how to avoid ribis. That will be discussed in Amud Beis. Right now, we discuss the situation of ribis. It's not nice. It's not good. And I said, this is not ideal. We're talking about a situation where ribis was taken, and you cannot take the ribis away from him because it's the Rabbanon. If you're an ehrliche person, you want to avoid it, we'll see in the next page how you do that. Okay? We were talking about an absolute b'diavad situation. Ribis was taken. If it's the Rabbanon, you can't take it out. How to avoid that's the upcoming story. Okay? Thank you for helping me reorganize it. Let me give you an introduction before the next words, and that's also a bit of an answer to a question here. This original money, that 1 million in fruit that was eaten, is not simply when the person originally came here to eat it. Who? The Malve. Why did he come to eat it? You ask him, Mister, what are you eating now? He will tell you, I'm eating ribis. I'm expecting the 1 million in cash because that was the agreement. That 1 million is ribis I'm eating on top of that. You eating ribis? Yes, I do. None of your business. In other words, Lamaisa, this in his mind, even the original million he ate is just extra to be eaten atop of the other million which he'll get in cash. Comes Robin was mechadish. You can convert. It's called converting in English. You can convert what's in the mind of the Malve. And he's not wrong. Was ribis? He can convert it and say, no, I'm turning what you think is ribis to a capital. But that's a chiddush. It's not automatic that once he hit million, the milve was paid. Absolutely not. The milve was, we spoke in the lawyer's office years ago that you're going to give me in cash. For you to come now and say, you know what? Actually, the cash is now turned into fruit in your stomach, which you ate now.
At this stage, that's a chiddush. Not only it's a chiddush, some people called Ravina argue with that. Let's continue. And then we see the whole picture. Excuse me, it's Ravashi. Ravashi and Ravina were friends. Omar Ravashi. Hashta da'amat ochel tfelom of kinan minei. Now that you told me, Rava, that what? That if he ate the extra on top of the capital, you don't take out the extra ribis, meaning you're so strong with the malve beribis rights, and you're telling me that ribis, avak ribis cannot be taken out. I'll take it one step further. Listen to this. Ochel shiur zuzi, nami lo misalkinan lebeloi zuzi. Wow, wow, wow. Even the original, you came here, you watched him every day, you Mr. Loive. You counted every grape he ate, and you came, door, the bell is ringing. You just ate 1 million. That was payment. Get out of my field. You cannot do that. You're not allowed to do that. Why not? Why not? My time, sluki beloy zuzi, apuki minehu, avi ava kribis. Because I'll tell you why. Originally, when I ate my kavana, and your kavana, mister, the original agreement was I'm going to be paid in cash. And now I ate the fruit. Fruit are not cash. Last time I checked, you don't make bora priya eights when you eat a dollar and you can't plant it, which means don't mix things up. My kavana was to eat it as an ava kribis. You can't convert it one sunny day, even you hit it in the right time, and say now you ate that and will convert it into the loan. No, because that's my ava kribis. And continues the Gemara, the ava kribis enayotza b'dayanin. As painful as it sounds, and as non-mustardik that it sounds, ava kribis cannot be taken dayanim. Your shtick of turning what I ate, which was originally ava kribis, and you say, hey, wait a second, I hit you right in the right spot, and now let's convert it into the capital, and instead of cash here at the end of the horizon, I now decided you already paid. No, doesn't work, says Ravashi. The original opinion said yes. Yeah, original opinion that Mishmei Rava, he says you can do that. That's a machlaikas. Rava says at one point, as long as the numbers are right, you, the Lova, have the right to decide now the milva was paid. And then, of course, he can kick him out. Avada. You're right, according to Rava Tzvi. Of course. If I came in the right moment, the guy was very vigilant, and once million was eaten, he says, door, the bell rang, you 8 million, that million is instead of cash, out of my land. Now, of course, he's not allowed to eat one grape more, and the 20,000 just won't happen. That's one way. Says Ravashi, no, I'm sorry. No, because the original agreement, that was all extras. He came here to eat extra. Is he eating ribis? Yes. Will he burn in Gehenna? Probably yes. But Lamaisa, it's avak ribis. It's extra. You still have to give me 1 million in cash. It was decided, and all that I ate is extra. Will be extra, forever extra, and I'll eat it. Of course, you'll leave the land once the person came with the money, obviously, but you have to come with cash, and that I ate will remain extra forever, and I will not give it back to you once it was given to me, because Aver Kribis was already collected, will never be taken out of the hands of the Malvin. Are we friends again? Which mistake? What? Oh. I want to fine tune what I said. You're right. In other words, when the person specifically said, "I want cash, and only cash," then it's not a chiddush. Of course, Rabashi is right. I assume even if they didn't mamish agree verbally with Chasim or with Edim, let's say that's a normal thing. If it's normal to be paid with money, which usually is, then comes the machlokas. Do we say the norm can be money can be transferred into shova kesef? Shova kesef is or not? But if it was mamish specified, then you're right. Let's just finish. Before we finish. We have one more line. Ovad Rav Ashi uvda. Rav Ashi followed his own opinion. Ad kedekach. Listen to this. Even with Yisoimim. Wow. Yisoimim ktanim kegdoilim. What does that mean? Rav Ashi followed his own opinion. La halacha is dying so much. He passed in a din, and he said that if a person ate the avakribis, stays in his bank account, stays in his tummy, stays in his gold bars. It stays there, avakribis, and he can't convert and play around with. No, you'll have to give him the $1 million back in cash. Plus, he stays with what he already ate. Not only that, even by Yisraelim Ktanim he did that. Wow. Because the Yonim have no koyach to take out, even though the other people, the poor little Yisraelim with teary eyes and all that, Lemaisa, you cannot take money. There was avakribis from the hands of the person who already charged the avakribis. And even though the people of Yisraelim will have to go to the father's inheritance, take $1 million and pay back Mr. Malve, not Mamish Beribis, the avakribis guy, and he'll stay with avakribis, even by Yisraelim. Big Chiddush, but Ravashi took his Chiddush to an extreme. I would stop here. And maybe, let's read one more line. And that is the other part of the tour, but let's read the Gemara first. Now, everyone's asking the same question here. Everything here seems to be very unfair. And b'diavad, it's like asking the Rav, I ate chazer by mistake, I ate treif, I went to a Madrin restaurant, but that's came the mashgiach, it's treif. What do? Yeah, I'm using the Ritva's example, not mine. You throw up, you vomit, it's not going to help. Right? What's the kapara? If everybody would say, can eat chazer and then vomit, everyone will eat chazer. You're encouraging it, right? It's not a kapara. So what do I do now? That's b'diavad. How do I avoid it? How do I avoid not eating chazer next time? Now the question is going to be, what do we do in such a situation? The ribis would not happen. We don't want avak ribis to happen. That's the next part of the sugya. The sugya goes back to front. Amar Rav Breder of Yosef. I'm just reading one line. The rest will be tomorrow. Ishmei de Rove. I mashkanta b'asad misalki. In a place, again, when is it more problematic? When at any given moment, the lover can come with the cash and get the lender out of the land. That's although it's not a kinyan. Loy nechul, you're not allowed to eat from the fruit. Is an ehrliche person. Who? The Malve. The Malve is asking the Rabbi, I got this mashkon. I don't want to lose. I want to rake in money, but I'm scared of ribis. I don't want to be that bad guy from Amud Aleph. I'm the good guy of Amud Beis. What do you do? Ele benechyoso. The only way to do that is benechyoso. Nechyoso now is what we'll see later in the tour, is not getting everything back. I'll just tell you in short, and the rest we'll see tomorrow. Every year over 3, 4, 5, 10 years, although the years are not decided, yeah. Let's say it takes a long time for the lawyer to come up with the money. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I know the Malda can be kicked out any given moment, but the Vaila, as long as I'm there, they've decided that every year I'll remove from your choiv X amount of money. You owe me 1 million. Every year of me being there, I'll take away $50,000, regardless of the gain that I'm making. Have in mind, every businessman knows, and every farmer knows, some years are better than other. That's the children, of course, yeah? Because they have the fluctuation up and down, regardless of how much money I, the Malve, will make from the fancy office building in Tel Aviv or the field in Golan, wherever that is, I'll always be committed to pay you. What do you mean pay you? To deduct from the choiv set amount. That means that's not ribis. Because even if it happens to be the 1 year, the bonanza, boom, wow, all the fancy lawyers in Tel Aviv rented and gave me billions, lo mishaneh. It's not called ribis because lamaisa, I'm always playing around with not knowing whether I'll gain or lose. And I'm always losing by deducting every year the set amount. That's more like maybe you called leasing. And that avoids ribis. That is what the tour meant really at the end. What I said was a different one. There are 7 different types, remember. Mashkanta benechyosa means every year deduct, and then I know I'm paying specific rent, kilu rent. I have a fancy office in Tel Aviv. Well, I'm not exactly ribis here because I always pay him by deducting from the chov, I don't know, 50,000, 100,000. Some years I'll have billion, some years I'll have minus million. Mimela, that's called so set that it's not called ribis, and that avoids the problem of ribis in such a case. Just one more line. If the Malve is a Talmid Chacham, says Rashi, Talmid Chacham has to do Lifnim Yeshua Sadin, because people learn from him. A Talmid Chacham has to do things super extra good, and they're super extra well. And therefore, Talmid Chacham should have another advice, not Nachyosa, because Nachyosa still seems maybe like Ribis, because sometimes he's getting more money. And therefore, Talmid Chacham has to have a different kind of advice that would be a third kind of mashkanta. To be continued. Questions, comments are welcome. Thank you. Sorry. Have a very good day. Atzlacha Rabba to everybody in Torah anytime, YouTube, and of course here in the beautiful Abbas Shalom Center.